They signed Jarvis Landry. They signed Tyrann Mathieu. And he tweeted, boy, signing those guys makes me want to come back and play. Great additions, leaders, and players. Then there was a report in the New York Post that Drew Brees is not going back to NBC next year. And so Drew tweeted in response, despite speculation from media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business and philanthropy. I may train for the pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coach my kids, or all of the above. I'll let you know. So hold everything. Let me bring Louis Riddick and my insider Dan Graziano into the conversation. Dan, he just sort of somewhat casually throws in the possibility of coming back. Is that something people were taking seriously?
No, I don't think so. Look, he equated the possibility of playing football again with the possibility of joining the pickleball tour. Is there even a pickleball tour? I'm not sure. So I think, look, I wouldn't take it too seriously. I don't think there's – I mean, this is a guy, the last time we saw him play was a couple seasons ago, and it wasn't going very well. He didn't play last year. He had surgery on his left shoulder, non-throwing shoulder, but he had surgery within the last couple of months. So you'd be talking about a guy at 43 coming off a season where he didn't play and rehabbing an injury of some sort. Greeny, I think there's a better chance of you or I playing quarterback in the NFL this year than there is of Drew Brees doing it, quite honestly.
Okay, fair enough, and that makes it unlikely, although I have taken a few phone calls, Louis, and so I don't know. It's not inconceivable. I'm loosening up the old right shoulder. The reality of it is that what sort of started this conversation, Louis, are these acquisitions by the Saints. And don't look now, but that looks like a team that could do some damage, yes?
There's no question about it. Look, offensively, this wide receiver room in particular, Greeny, it looks totally different than the wide receiver room we watched last year. We watched them live, watch them on TV, and just watch them struggle. Look, and this was when Jameis Winston was still there. And talking to Sean Payton last year, look, he really wanted to change the complexion of this offense. He wanted to be more of a vertical strike type of offense. And they just didn't have the people now. Well, now, look at what they got in that wide receiver room. If Mike Thomas comes back healthy, you've got your do-it-all wide receiver. Jarvis Landry, you've got your in-between-the-numbers, dirty work wide receiver. Chris Olave, you've got your super smooth, rookie, young, fresh legs, deep threat wide receiver. Alvin Kamara's there. You had one of the best dual-threat running backs in the NFL, period. They tried to go ahead and fortify this offensive line, drafting Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. We talked about him at the draft to play left or right tackle. Look, this offense right now I think looks spectacular. Defensively, they're always going to be good. Dennis Allen taking over for this team as the new head coach. He will have them playing. And Tyrann will just bring them more leadership in the middle of the field, which is where you need it anyway. And him and Demario Davis, I mean, these guys are just true pros, man, true all pros. Look, in the South, I think with the addition of Jarvis Landry, and if Jameis, which obviously is the key, man, if Jameis is healthy, look out for the Saints. Everyone knows that the Saints can whoop you at any time. They were just depleted last year. And the Bucs know this in particular, which is what everyone points to in the South as being the team that has to be beaten. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Tom knows what New Orleans is coming with. Tom knows how New Orleans can play. Everyone else in the NFC better watch out too, especially if Jameis Winston is all right.
That's an important point, Dan, which is that with the exception of that playoff game, which is obviously an enormous exception, and I don't want to make it seem like we're piling on Drew here, but I mean, Brees threw a bunch of interceptions in that game. Outside of that, since Brady came to Tampa, the one team he can't beat is New Orleans. The Saints have had his number, despite the fact that Brady won the Super Bowl. Is the sense that you get around talking to people, Dan, that right now people view the Saints as a legitimate threat to unseat Tampa as the division champ?
A legitimate threat, no doubt. Look, the Saints certainly view themselves that way, and if you look at their offseason, it has set up that way. They made win-now moves. They won 9 games last year with no offense at all. I mean, they had nothing at wide receiver. The quarterback was hurt. It was basically Alvin Kamara, and that was it. So they have a great defense that can win them games, and they've made upgrades on offense. Look, there are some big questions, right? Is Jameis Winston going to come back healthy, and is he going to be the guy that we saw early last year in terms of better at limiting turnovers than he was earlier in his career? And then the coaching change is significant. I mean, people think Dennis Allen is a good coach, but he was not a successful head coach the first time around. And Sean Payton has been such a central figure in that organization for so long that going from him to anyone else obviously leaves open some questions. So some questions to answer, but a good-looking roster for sure.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.